A contractor scammed my elderly mom for $50,000 and left her house in ruins, so I placed a lien on his own $3 million mansion and blocked his sale. My mother is 70 years old. She saved for 10 years to renovate her kitchen, her dream project. She hired a contractor named Vince. Vince drove a brand new Range Rover, had a flashy website, and promised to finish the job in 6 weeks. He demanded $50,000 upfront for materials and custom cabinets. My mom, trusting him, wrote the check. Day one, Vince showed up with a sledgehammer. He demolished her entire kitchen, tearing out the sink, the stove, and the walls. He left her house a dusty shell. And then he vanished. For 3 weeks, he ghosted us. No cabinets arrived, no workers came. My mom was washing dishes in her bathtub. When I finally tracked Vince down, he gave me a sob story about supply chain issues and cash flow problems. He refused to refund the money, claiming he had already spent it on materials that were non-refundable. But I did some digging. I found Vince's personal Instagram. While my mom was living in a construction zone, Vince was posting photos from a luxury vacation in Cabo. He hadn't bought cabinets, he had funded his lifestyle. I realized Vince wasn't broke. He was a predator. He relied on the fact that seniors usually don't fight back because legal fees are too expensive. He thought he was untouchable because he operated under an LLC, limited liability company. He was wrong. I hired a consumer protection lawyer who explained a critical legal concept, piercing the corporate veil. Because Vince had used my mom's money for personal vacations instead of business expenses, he had committed commingling of funds. This meant his LLC didn't protect him anymore. He was personally liable. We sued Vince for breach of contract, consumer fraud, and elder financial abuse. In my state, elder abuse carries treble damages, triple the amount stolen. Vance was arrogant. He ignored the lawsuit. He didn't even show up to court thinking it would just go away. That was his fatal mistake. Because he didn't show up, the judge granted us a default judgment. The judge ordered Vance to pay $150,000, $50K returned plus $100K in penalties. But a piece of paper doesn't get your money back. You have to collect. I hired a private investigator to do an asset search. We found out that Vince owned a massive $3 million mansion in a gated community. And here was the golden ticket. He had just listed it for sale. He was trying to flip his own house to cash out. I immediately took the court judgment to the county records office and filed an abstract of judgment. This created a judgment lien against any real estate Vince owned in the county, including his mansion. 2 weeks later, I got a frantic call. It wasn't Vince. It was his closing agent. Vince had found a buyer for his mansion. They were days away from closing, but during the final title search, the title company found my lien. The agent told me, "Sir, we cannot close the sale and transfer the title until your lien is satisfied." Vince is freaking out. The buyer is threatening to walk away. Vince had no choice. He couldn't sell his $3 million house unless he paid me first. The lien acted like a clamp on his entire net worth. Vince tried to offer me $50,000 to remove the lien. I said no. I told the agent, the judgment is for $150,000 plus statutory interest. I want a cashier's check for the full amount by noon tomorrow or the lien stays and he loses his buyer. The next morning, I picked up a check for $156,000, including interest. We used the money to hire a real, honest contractor to finish Mom's kitchen. We even added heated floors with the extra penalty money. Vance sold his house, but he walked away with significantly less profit and a permanent mark on his record. He learned that while he could demolish a kitchen, he couldn't demolish the law. Contractors like Vince get away with this every day because people are afraid to sue, but there are laws specifically designed to protect homeowners from fraud. My question to you is, if a contractor steals money from an elderly person, should it just be a civil lawsuit or should they go straight to prison for theft? Tell me what you think the punishment should be in the comments.